Good day, here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. stressed the need to continue tapping the country's natural gas to supply power for millions of Filipinos as he conveyed the government support for Phase 4 of the Malampaya gas field drilling operations. Marcos personally conducted on Monday an aerial inspection of the Noble Viking drilling rig off the northwest coast of Palawan. In a Facebook post, Marcos emphasized the urgency of tapping new gas reserves as the resources of Malampaya, which supplies 20% of Luzon's power, continue to dwindle. The president also reaffirmed the administration's push for the use of natural gas alongside the country's efforts to shift to renewable energy. He said natural gas will help keep power rates steady and ensure energy security. The Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project several gas-fired power plants in Batangas since 2001 in a bid to reduce dependence on imported fuel and boost the country's indigenous energy supply. Phase 4 involves digging new wells, extending the gas field's lifespan. The project was extended to February 2039 from its initial expiration in February 2024. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, says 8 of the 21 Filipino seafarers of the ill-fated bulk carrier MV Eternity Sea are now safe and preparing for repatriation. In a statement, the DFA said the 8 rescued crew members disembarked at the port city of Jizan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The rescued Filipinos are now under the care of the Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah, the Migrant Workers Office Jeddah, and their shipping agency. They will undergo medical assessment before their scheduled return to the country in the coming days. The DFA thanked the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for extending visa considerations to the 8 seafarers on humanitarian grounds. Earlier reports stated that Houthi rebels attacked and sunk the MV Eternity Sea while sailing through the Red Sea. Meanwhile, a total of 47 distressed overseas Filipino workers from Kuwait, Israel, and the Red Sea safely returned home over the weekend, according to the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA. The group includes 11 Filipino crew members of the cargo vessel MV Magic Seas, which was attacked by Houthi rebels at the Red Sea. 20 OFWs from Kuwait arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport Terminal 1 via flight WY843 on Friday evening. On Saturday morning, 16 OFWs from Israel arrived at NAIA Terminal 1 via flight PR659. These OFWs availed of voluntary repatriation amid tensions between Israel and Iran. Meanwhile, the 11 crew members arrived at the NAIA Terminal 1 on Saturday evening via flight SQ918. The repatriated OFWs were welcomed by officials of the Department of Migrant Workers, Department of Social Welfare and Development, OWA, and the Manila International Airport Authority's medical team. They received financial aid, medical checks, psychosocial support, transportation assistance, and reintegration support. The OWA said the repatriation initiatives follow President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to ensure the safety and well-being of all Filipino workers abroad. Newly appointed Presidential Communications Officer PCO Acting Secretary Dave Gomez is launching an agency-wide performance audit, which he said will be fair, honest to goodness, and unbiased. In a media interview, Gomez said he plans to hold one-on-one meetings with key PCO officials to understand the agency's operations and performance. The secretary said he is focusing on effectively communicating the president's programs and policies, promoting press freedom, improving media access, and fighting misinformation. Gomez vowed to improve the working environment for journalists covering Malacanang. He is also pushing for the PCO's digital transformation, saying expanding its digital footprint will broaden public engagement. Gomez is a former journalist with the Philippine Star and member of the Malacanang Press Corps. He is the 5th official to head the PCO under the Marcos administration, following J. Ruiz, Cesar Chavez, Cheloy Garafil, and Trixie Cruz Angeles. Moving on to local news, the municipal government of Opol in Misamis Oriental officially launched a 29.8 million peso farm-to-market road or FMR on Monday. In an interview, Opol Mayor J. Bago said the new FMR located in Barangay Nangkaon aims to improve local farmers' access to markets and reduce transportation costs for their produce. Bago added that the crucial infrastructure spanning 1.2 kilometers has been turned over to village officials. The project is part of the Rural Agro-Enterprise Partnership for Inclusive Development and Growth project of the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department of the Interior and Local Government. It received funding from the International Fund for Agricultural Development. In relation to project launching, the local government also conducted free legal consultations. Municipal Councilor Ana Carla Cabrera said the consultations are part of the local government's efforts to expand its offerings to the public. In our business news, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP said the Philippines' higher investors relations score signifies its efforts to provide investors and credit rating companies with comprehensive and timely information they need and access to key officials and resource persons. Based on 2025 Investor Relations and Debt Transparency Report, the Philippines' score for investor relations practices increased to 49.3 out of 50 points this year compared from 48.9 in 2024. The Philippines ranked second out of 54 countries, followed by Indonesia, which received the top score of 49.4. The report was made by the Institute of International Finance or IIF, a global association of financial industries located in Washington, D.C. The country also ranked third on debt transparency with a score of 12.3 out of 13 points. The BSP said this showed the Philippines' enhanced transparency practices and presentation of debt and environmental, social, and governance or ESG data in a market-friendly format. In addition, the country achieved a perfect 4 out of 4 in ESG data and policy dissemination, which evaluated the efforts of Philippines in ESG debt issuances and forward-looking budgetary and fiscal policies, consideration of investors' feedback into policy decisions, among others. The BSP remains committed to work with the government to further enhance the country's investor relations through enhanced discussions with creditors and continuous data transparency. Meanwhile, More Electric and Power Corporation or More Power inked a memorandum of agreement with Electro Premier Venture International Incorporated for the pilot implementation of the Advanced Metering Infrastructure or AMI system. The MOA was signed by More Power President Roel Castro and Electro Premier Venture International Incorporated President Lawyer Rica Gatchalian. The AMI system will use cutting-edge smart grid technology for modernizing energy management and consumption. Under the system, existing electric meters will be replaced with smart meters consisting of subscriber identity modules in order to communicate with a centralized data collector for more power for monitoring, analysis, and control. Smart meters also have different features such as theft and outage detection, meter irregularity alerts, and remote connection, disconnection, and reconnection capabilities that will improve service reliability and operational efficiency. The initiative complies with the rules set by the Energy Regulatory Commission in its decision on April 12 this year on the rules governing the implementation of the AMI system by distributions, utilities, and authorized entities. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. You may also watch the PNA headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau under PNA News. I am William Theo. This is the PNA headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.